Yeah, you're a YouTuber now, so you gotta deal with it.
I am not. Hello, Tevis.
Hey, Steve. Ready to
Welcome
talk
to
about Pokemon cards?
Alternative Asset Weekly. And I'm glad that you could join us.
All right. So while we're waiting for some people to join up, I begrudgingly agreed to talk about Pokemon cards tonight because I have nothing better to do with my Saturday night. And Steve is going to show us some charts, and we're going to talk about how this has outperformed the S&P 500. Finally, the real content I've been waiting for. This was actually a
So,
trap, and I was trying to find which of my audience is the real nerds. So you're all here. I'm going to show you this first, Steve, because I spent, not only am I nerdy enough to be on this live stream with you on
I'm
Saturday,
worried.
I also made Steve an intro video for the Alternative Assets Weekly. Are you guys, are you ready? Do you want to see it? I'll play it now. You ready, Steve?
Yeah, let's see it.
So I clipped together some sound bites from the previous podcasts, and for you guys that are listening, just an audio warning. It might have sound bites that are kind of loud, but I'm gonna play it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
To
to
Alternative Asset Weekly. So, yes, I'm crazy, and I actually did the data. This is from like 4 days ago. This has outpaced the S&P. So, if you bought one of every box, you would have outpaced the S&P. Dude, I know nothing about Pokemon. I never played it, never watched it, never played video games. Know nothing about it. I know Charizard.
You're the
That's
biggest
it.
degen out of us
Just-
all, man. Yeah,
That was hilarious. I love it.
isn't that the best intro ever?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. So,
So,
Tevis,
you can use that on
welcome.
your show now. Yeah.
We don't have Tanner with us,
No.
so we can actually have a real discussion about this. Welcome to Alternative Asset Weekly.
Okay, let's do it.
And I made a new PowerPoint presentation, and I like to think that you have an open mind because you were predominantly a growth investor. We're not going to get too into it, but you had a very limited amount of assets with stocks in your portfolio. Very, very growth oriented. And now you've become a dividend investor also.
That's because I got burned in growth stocks. Please continue.
So I would like to open your mind and show you something that's going to sound ridiculous, but the data is the data.
Yeah.
And the numbers are the numbers. And we know that that's all I focus on is the numbers. So let's see if we can get you to be interested in this. Just, it's going to seem ridiculous, but from a pure aspect of just capital appreciation.
The fact that I just heard a ding from a Microsoft PC, just I'm so mentally ready for this.
All right, share my screen, please. So over the past decade, okay, VOO has appreciated by just over 170%. Of course there's charts. What do you think? We're not going to have charts? Come on. The data's the data. All right. Evolving Skies is the hottest box from the last series. Okay. So what I did is I went in.
So hold on. Pretend I'm like, I don't know anything about anything. You can't tell me franchise names. You can't.
No, I get it. Trust me, you're going to get it. Okay.
Cool.
The slide on the left is TCG Player. The reason I'm doing it this way, so we're not flipping around all screens and everything. So I took screenshots of everything.
Sure.
So this is where people in the TCG world, so trading card game world, go to price out boxes and single cards. The current market value for a box of Evolving Skies, which is basically a box of baseball cards for more of a generic thing, $501.02. Okay. on eBay about an hour ago, there was a box that was going for $475 with 19 bids and had 3 hours left in the bid. This is a liquid market. This is a real market. There are real people spending US currency on these boxes. They move, they sell liquid. So you can get in and you can get out. Now, there are eBay fees when you sell on eBay of about 13.5%. And then there's additional fees if you want to sponsor it to get it up in the searches more. But this is simply to show what the market value is, that you can actually sell it. There are people willing to buy it. And it is pretty close to the end of this bid.
So 2 questions on this before we move
Sure.
on.
Yes.
Is because one of my main concerns with this is the selling of it.
Mhm.
Is eBay the only way to sell them, i.e., I am locked into that 13% fee, or is there another way to sell? Number one. And then number two, what does the liquidity look like? Because I remember for like NFTs, for example, if I sell something for, let's say 500, there might be, 5 more or 6 more, and then the price jumps to like 600 because it's not very liquid. So
All right. So let me try to explain what the market looks like for this stuff. If you go to like a card convention, it is huge, massive. Like you can't walk. Okay. We could pull up pictures of a sports card convention or a TCG convention. If you think about Comic-Con, have you ever gone to a Comic-Con or anything? No, you haven't.
no, bro, I meet women. I don't fucking go to card conventions.
All right. We're going to have to show you something. This is from my personal page. We're going to stop the share. We're going to share something different. We're going to share
Okay.
something from the personal G Drive.
Oh my God. This is the kind of investment you can't tell anyone about. They'll think you're out of your mind. Yeah, look, Ori, this is how you beat the hedge funds. You think Morgan Stanley is investing in Pokemon cards? They're
You think
not.
people are doing the level of due diligence that I'm doing? Come on.
Yeah. Oh, Steve showed me a chart earlier today. And I swear, like it almost gave me a brain aneurysm. So he will show you that same chart probably.
Yeah.
And I, in my mind, I said, thank goodness you channeled this into Pokemon cards, because otherwise you would have been a serial killer.
So I took my nephew to Comic-Con, and this was probably 2017-ish, okay? At the Javits Center in New York City. Share the screen. Look at this.
Jesus.
You couldn't move, okay? It is a sea of freaking people, and that is just the main entryway, okay? People dress up. It is crazy, okay?
Is that Wolverine?
Yeah, people dressing up as Wolverine.
Also, the fact that you're sharing your personal photo folder on your personal G Drive gives me so much anxiety right now. This is live. You know that, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know what the next photo is that's going to show up here, Steve.
Dude, it's all freaking Comic-Con. What are you talking about? This is just where I have it.
Okay.
Like, it's wild. Like, people are fucking dressed up and everything. Like, these people take it so seriously. New York City Comic-Con. Like, if we type in NYCC Comic-Con and let me share the different screen, and we'll just go to Google Images so you can see how ridiculously big this is, okay? So when you ask if there's a market for it, and I understand what your concern is, you look at these pictures.
Yep. Fair enough.
Tell me there's not a market without telling me there's not a market, you know?
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Okay.
I feel like there would be a high correlation between the amount of single people in this, I imagine. I don't know. That's just like my brain going off.
See, you would think that, but it is actually not true because this genre has really taken off. It's normalized with comic books and TCG and all that stuff. Now it's crazy. I don't know what to tell you, but it's crazy. There's a huge market for it. So in order to sell, you can sell on TCG Player. You can sell on eBay. You could also get a dealer booth at a convention and sell, or you can just take your stuff to a convention and try to sell to a vendor or trade up, or there are ways to get out of your product.
So do they sell the cards at Comic-Con as well, or are you just
yeah.
the brand
There's
value?
a whole section for dealers to set up at Comic-Con.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So back to my eBay questions.
Yes.
So you can either sell them in person to something like a Comic-Con or something, like a physical vendor, or you can sell them online through eBay. Is there any other way?
I mean, you could try a Facebook group or that type of stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily do that the way that I would get out of it. Or you have a relationship at a local shop. So I started buying cases from a local shop to establish a relationship. And I've seen on their Instagram that people come in and consign stuff and then they sell stuff for them. Or you can sell stuff that is out of print back to a local card shop. So you could go that route too. There's ways to get out of it.
Okay, so basically, assuming I only want to do the eBay route because it's the sort of path of least resistance, then I always have to add a 13% rake on top of anything that I try to sell.
Correct.
Okay, that's a big asterisk. What about the liquidity? Like, is one 500 and is the other one like 700, and there's a huge variance?
We're going to go through it right now.
Great, let's do it.
So let's bring the presentation back up. You know I got the data for you.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So now I used Dividend Channel because they have probably the best software that I know of to get your total return from reinvesting the dividends. So I went through box by box and I typed in the same dates as the launch dates of the actual boxes from the Pokemon stuff to get the actual starting investment and ending investment. It has to go in increments of 10,000 on this site. So, XY series is the first series. So I'm only going back to 2014, the past 3 series, because I didn't want to have 100 boxes on here. So if you had paid 105 when each box came out, okay, you would have
how many cards? How many cards in a box? Or I don't care. I'm never opening
36 packs of 10 cards, like 360 cards, something like that.
Oh wow, that's a lot. But
yeah, I could go get one from the other room, but
I'm not opening it though, right? I'm just keeping it.
No. So all right, let's explain that. I am investing in sealed product. The reason I'm investing in sealed product is because every day that goes by, every week that goes by, there's less sealed product in existence. People rip it, et cetera, et cetera. I am a big believer in nostalgia. I'm a big believer in liquidity. Oh, perfect example. I have a box in here. Hold on. Travis, are you a baseball fan?
I couldn't name you 2 baseball players, Babe Ruth and you get my point. Barry Bonds, and that's pretty much it.
So I forgot that I had some of this stuff in here. All right, Aaron Judge, probably the most famous New York Yankee right now. He broke the home run record 2 years ago. I have a box of 2017 update right here, sealed his rookie year. This is probably 3 or 4x right now. I gotta get this into my storage unit. I gotta take a drive over there. I have a bunch of stuff sitting here that needs to go there. Like I don't.
Can you imagine we go through an apocalypse 200 years from now, and somebody cracks open Steve's storage unit, and it's just boxes and boxes and boxes of playing cards. It's just, how do you explain that? I don't know. Anyways, sorry, continue.
Well, why would I want to keep all that stuff here?
I mean, I would imagine you have no storage space in your apartment to even keep it there. Like with the amount of stuff that I imagine you have.
Even if I did, why would I want to keep it here? I'd rather have it off site.
Fair. Okay, cool. Continue.
All right. So basically, what sealed product, as time goes by, there's less of it, which makes it more rare, and you never know what's inside of it. So theoretically, anything of the good stuff can be in there. So people are more willing to purchase that also. Very liquid. So now when we look at XY series, there's 11 boxes in this series. Your initial investment would have been $1,155. Based on the current price of all these boxes, it would add up to $11,680.44. Your profit would have been $10,525.44. An ROI of 911.29%. Okay. Now the S&P.
So
through
sorry.
VOO.
So I'm like writing questions on the side because I'm actually taking this seriously and I want to ask the
Yep.
questions. You said sealed product. Why don't you open the boxes and just keep the packs themselves that are sealed?
No. That's a big no.
Okay, why?
So because people won't trust it then. They'll think that you opened the packs, took the good stuff out, resealed the packs. They'll think that you got a jewelry scale out, weighed the packs, took the heavy packs out and replaced them. Oh, no. You got to keep it factory sealed. Very important.
Cool. Okay, got it.
Very important. So like I showed you before with the dividend investing channel, I went and I actually typed these exact release dates in and got what VOO's initial and ending price would have been. Your ROI, if you had invested the same $105 into VOO out of these dates, would have been an average appreciation of 188.76%. This XY series, buying one of each box versus putting 105 into VOO at these dates, shatters it from appreciation. And if you think about what the NASDAQ's done in the past 10 years, it shatters the NASDAQ also, which is absolutely crazy.
Hey, Steve, can I ask you a question? And maybe you don't want to answer this on camera, but like, how does taxes work on these things? Like, there's no forms for it.
Technically, if you don't sell, there's no tax event.
I mean, if you do sell.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you do sell, you should pay your taxes.
Yeah, but like, is it just?
Seriously, I would do the same thing I do in my Seeking Alpha. I write it up, I give it to my account, he tells me what I owe, and I pay it.
Got it.
So,
but like for the average person, they just sell it on eBay, pocket the money, and don't pay the.
Well, I believe that eBay issues a 1099 at the end of the year if you sell more than $600 worth of stuff. I'm not 100% sure about that. We'd have to Google it, but I'm pretty sure that they issue some type of tax form.
Cool. Okay, so eBay handles it. But like if I sell, Facebook Marketplace or whatever, then it's all like under the table.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all I can say is what I would do. And if I did, I just got into this. I'm not really buying back boxes. I'm buying the new stuff, and I'm willing to sit on it for 5 or 10 years because the model is the model. So based on the model, if I do that, I should outpace the S&P. When I go to sell it, I will deduct my cost, and then I will write everything down, have my account look at the profit, and tell me what I owe. So,
got it.
All right. So now the next series is Sun and Moon. Okay, this was.
So these are all Pokemon.
What?
These are all Pokemon.
Yeah. So think of it as like, I guess, Super Mario 1, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3, something like that. So this is the next series, and there's a bunch of boxes in this series. And the release dates were February 2017 through October 2019. All right. So in this series, if you had done the same thing, you would have spent about $1,260. They would currently be valued at $7,805.73. You'd have a profit of $6,545.73. Your ROI would have been 519.5%. Same thing. You invested in VOO on these same dates with that same $105. Your appreciation would have been 106.15%.
Okay, so just so I understand this, they do limited releases that are one and done, and then they never come back. Like this, the Sun and Moon series, for example, that's only released from these 7 years, and then it never comes back again, or how does that work?
So over a 2 or 3 year period, once the print runs are done, the print runs are done. Like the print runs get reprinted during the series, but now that they're on Scarlet and Violet, Sun and Moon is not being reprinted. I mean, theoretically they could, but they haven't. But they have done reprints of hot sets during that phase.
So doesn't that just flood the market, or is that like a different serial number, or how does that work?
So there's no serial numbers, and yes, it increases supply during that. But right now, if you have Sun and Moon stuff, they're not printing anymore. So once it comes, my understanding is once it comes off the actual Pokemon Center website, no more reprints. Done. And that's why you need to sit on this stuff for 5 to 10 years. All right. So now this was the second most recent one, Sword and Shield era. So this was 2020 through the end of 2022. So this just ended not too long ago. And in this, the average appreciation is 80.91% versus the average appreciation of VOO with these increments at 36.39%. The Sword and Shield, $1,260 investment. Current price would be $2,279.41. You got a profit of $1,019.41. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is a very condensed version of the thing that I sent you a screenshot of. Out of these 35 boxes, only 5 boxes have not outpaced the S&P 500. I'll say that again. Only 5 boxes have not outpaced. Anything on this last column in blue has not outpaced the S&P. Anything in orange has outpaced the S&P. And your overall ROI would be 492.26%.
What about like the NASDAQ?
This beats the NASDAQ also.
So like, how do you know which ones are going to beat it or not? You
don't. I mean, some people think they can predict it. I don't know if anybody actually can. I think diversification pretty much guarantees that if this model continues to extrapolate out, you'll get all the hits and you'll get all the duns. I mean, Evolving Skies, you're currently up 360% on your profit. None of the other sets in that series are up that much. They're all, the next biggest one is Base, and that's about 99% return. Evolving Skies is the clear winner in that series. So you just buy one of each. That's my methodology.
So I just read the actual text on the screen. You have almost $22,000 worth of Pokemon cards. Is that what I read?
No, I don't have.
Not you. Okay.
I'm using one box of each as the litmus test for.
Can you hear me still? I don't know what happened.
I went to stop sharing and I hit.
You tried to click a button and
yeah.
Okay.
I'm a dunce, dude. What do you expect?
This makes it so much. Okay, because my camera froze at the same time. So
all right. So that's my methodology around this, where I really do feel like this is an interesting opportunity that people are not taking seriously or not looking at because it's not popular in a lot of different realms. You're still frozen.
yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm still here though.
Okay. Okay. So it's interesting, and it's an alternative asset because it's not stocks, it's not silver, it's not gold, it's not crypto, and there's a big market for it. I mean, based on the numbers, and all I care about is the numbers. Look, I wouldn't care if it's Garbage Pail Kids, toys, comic books. If you can make a profit in it, and if there's a big market for it, I'm willing to investigate it and see if it makes sense. And to me, this makes sense because I've physically seen the market. I go to the card shops, I've gone to shows, I've talked to a bunch of people in the industry. Very interesting stuff.
Okay, so here's my other question.
Yep.
And maybe it's a little esoteric and we can get into the rabbit holes. Will the nostalgia fade, right? Like in, let's say, the 80s, it was baseball cards. Then it became Pokemon cards. Then it became, whatever the new thing was, Magic the Gathering. And like now there's this entire generation of people who, like myself, I was a kid when, playing with Pokemon cards or whatever. Now I'm at a place where I can throw around, $2,000 or $3,000 just for funsies. Is it going to switch? Is it going to shift so that, in 5 years or so, Pokemon is not really that popular, whatever the Gen Zs are into, because that's what they grew up on, so on and so forth. Like, is there a risk of that for the nostalgia to essentially fade, and for these cards to go the route of NFTs, for example?
So going the route of NFTs, no. Is there a risk that it fades? Absolutely, there's a risk. Anybody who says that there isn't a risk is a moron. Like, obviously, there's a risk to this, but the data is the data. The market is huge. Pokemon is the largest grossing franchise in history, bigger than Star Wars, bigger than Marvel. And when you look at the conventions, and like baseball cards have always been big, they've only gotten bigger and the market's only expanded. Like you look at Michael Rubin, the guy sold his position in the 76ers so he could buy Tops. Fanatics owns Tops. What he is doing in the sports card realm is crazy. And you look at the amount of conventions for sports cards, and you look at the amount of conventions for comic books, you look at the amount of conventions for TCG, it's only getting bigger. And while there is definitely a risk that demand can slide, the amount of money going into this and the amount of people collecting this and the amount of people buying this and the avenues of which it's buying, like in the 80s and 70s, you didn't have these avenues. You didn't have social media groups dedicated to these things. And I think it's only going to get bigger. Don't forget, Pokemon is printed in 17 or 18 different languages now.
So here's the thing, though. Okay, it's only going to get bigger. What I want to push back on that is the reason why it's big right now is the nostalgia factor, because, you know, we didn't have, like, I mean, I didn't have a cell phone until my mid-teens. I didn't really have the internet until later. And so there was an entire block of my life where it's like, hey, we were playing with the Pokemon cards, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, all of this other stuff. This new generation, that's all online. Like, their nostalgia is going to be Minecraft and Roblox. It's not going to be Pokemon cards. And so I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. Is like, is it a limited market because you just took a snapshot in time of that generation, and it essentially more or less extends to that generation? Like, that's the sandbox that you're playing in terms of the total TAM.
So I don't think so, because as this generation that's into it starts having kids, they're going to end up getting their kids into it to some extent. Probably not going to be the same extent that they are into it. Pokemon is still huge with the video games. The cartoon is still big, and the TCG game is just getting bigger. I mean, look, I keep saying the data is the data, but the data is the data. And as far as Minecraft and that stuff, I think that stuff's always going to be big. Video games continues to extrapolate, but look at what is revered now. I don't see this generation going and wanting a print of a Mona Lisa or wanting to buy fine art or wanting to hang art like that. I know more people that would rather display sports cards, sports memorabilia, that type of stuff than fine art. And I think that that's the other thing that has to be considered in this. And look, this is certainly a risk, but if it continues to do what it's been doing, when new boxes come out, it's a race to the bottom. The margins are razor thin, and everybody's trying to take off everybody else's head. You can get boxes under MSRP for the first couple of months, and then they start to gradually go up. There's usually a reprint comes down, and that's why you need to give it time. But right now, you can get boxes for about $90 to $95 of the new stuff. And then if you sit on it long enough, theoretically, it should appreciate in value based on what all the other sets. It's not like there's just one set. Every set as a collaborative, except for the current one, which is on Series 5 right now out of 12, I believe, has outpaced the markets.
So, okay. So basically what you're saying is the big franchises generally, like, they're the blue chips of the collector's universe. And generally you want to stay towards those because everything else that's more niched out has a chance of just fading into oblivion.
I mean, I showed you how big Magic is on last night when we looked at the Hasbro earnings deck. I mean, you had to have been surprised at how big Magic is.
Yeah, I mean, Magic, I feel like, has been around forever. Like, it was around,
mid-90s.
Yeah.
But that's when Pokemon came out. Pokemon started in 96 in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I don't know. Like, I just feel as though the world is just moving towards more digital, and the collectible aspect. Like, I feel like the whole NFT craze
The
was,
NFTs were bullshit.
I know, man, but like, there's
I
a
can
reason
physically
why they
hold these.
get it.
Like there's the fact that anybody bought an NFT because somebody took a picture of this is ridiculous. I can take a picture of your freaking NFT and show you on my phone. There's nothing different about that. It's ridiculous.
I love how
Like,
I'm
don't
wrapping
compare
you
this
up.
to NFTs.
Okay, so but no, the point that I'm trying to make is like the reason why that saw some popularity was because people were trying to augment that feeling of having a collectible item, um, while detaching the actual hardware, like the tactile feel of having a collectible item. So in this case, it's a Pokemon card, and there's a limited print, and that's all well and good. For NFTs, it was, hey, this is a there's a unique identifier, and there's a limit as a result of that. I guess what I'm trying to say and struggling to say is that I don't know that there's anything stopping future generations to move more into that direction of having digital collectibles and incorporating digital collectibles from video games,
Well,
from
they tried it. It failed. Topps tried it with their digital
I know,
card.
man, but like
Failed.
Google tried to do Google Glass in 2013. They were just early. So
Digital collectibles is not, I mean, the only digital collectibles that really work, if you want to consider them collectibles, are skins in Fortnite and stuff in Counter-Strike because
sure.
kids are spending ridiculous amounts of money on this stuff. And I get that because it's an augment for your character. So you can consider that a digital collectible that worked. But this type of stuff, I don't see it working. Not with when you, and here's the other thing. I will say it. I watch a lot of card convention stuff on YouTube, and you see the amount of kids going to the conventions, and it is wild that the younger generation is totally into this. I mean, you look at what Cards HQ, that video that I tried showing you guys last night, he hosted a trade night. The amount of kids and young adults there was nuts. I mean, this is a huge market. It's getting bigger.
Mhm.
And look, I'm not saying anybody should do this by any means. I'm just saying that I am investing very small portion into it.
Okay,
And if
so
it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it looks like it's going to work if you stay the course.
okay, let me ask you this then. Why? Because there's
Because
other
I think there's a
aspects.
real way to make money. I mean, look, I
I get
paid
it.
I paid $4.30 for a box of Evolving Skies just because all the research I'm doing, so many people think it's going to hit that $1,000 mark. So I'm like, you know what? It's the last series set. I really didn't want to go back and buy up all those boxes, but I did buy that one. I bought a couple of them. I'm already in the money.
No, my point is like your bread and butter is dividend investing. You're
Yep.
well diversified in that, maybe over diversified. We can make an argument, and
Yep.
you get a dividend, and you're still beating the S&P 500. So my point is like, why not play in that space? Why?
Why can't I do both?
Well, like you're diluting whatever returns you're going to get if you're going to do both. If you have more conviction in one than the other,
Who's to say I have more conviction or don't have more conviction? I don't know what the Pokemon market's going to
it's
do.
not who's to
But I'll
say.
tell you,
It's your
if
it's
I was
your
going
asset
to
allocation that determines it, right?
Well, think about this. If I was going to invest in a 3D printing stock or some type of biotech stock that could go to zero, and that's my gambling money, then I'm going to take a shot on something with growth. I'm
Yeah.
putting this into the same bucket. The difference is if this goes kaput, I can open all of it with my nephew and give them to him. Like it's not like I have nothing at the end of the day.
Okay, that's a good argument, I guess.
You know what I mean? Like it is a tangible asset.
Are you ever tempted to open them?
No,
No, you never like,
no, I'm not into it.
man. I feel like
That's
I'll
the
have.
beauty of it. I'm not tempted to rip them at all. Now, baseball cards, it's different. And I buy a lot of stuff from Yankees and I buy that stuff and never going to sell that stuff. But this stuff, no, I'm not interested in opening it at all. That's why I feel like it's going to work for me because I'll sit on it in my storage unit for 10 years.
Did you have the storage unit before or after you started this?
No, before.
Because like I feel like storage would be a tough. That would be like a lift. Because I can buy. I'll probably right on the stream or right after the stream buy a box just, for fun. Whatever, it's like 300, $400, who cares? And I'll just keep it up on my bookshelf and just have it there.
You'll probably see
Storage,
it.
if I'm buying 20, 30 boxes, it's like it gets unruly. I'm not going to keep them under my bed.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably see a bookshelf behind me at some point when I redo the office and I start displaying some things. But cases and stuff like that, I only have one case in here, and it's in the other room. Eventually, that will get driven to the storage unit.
That could be a cool background idea for you if you actually keep up with Alternative Asset Weekly. You can just have a whole shelf of boxes.
There is definitely a plan of some of the, like, displaying some of the stuff. Like, I got some stuff.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, what about this? Can you talk about this? What does the degradation look like of these things? Because they are physical at the end of the day.
I'm not worried about it. Let's just say that.
Do they degrade into the box over time or no?
There's definitely a chance of that. And if you are going to do it in a storage unit, you should take the proper precautions. And I have.
Okay, but I'm saying like for the average person like me.
I probably wouldn't put it in a storage unit that could get moldy or murky or damp or anything like that. I would probably keep it somewhere where there isn't a ton of fluctuation.
Right.
There's also things that you can do. You don't just put it in as a shrink wrap thing. You can put it in certain things that go into the storage unit. I mean, I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, I'm only going to buy like 1 box or 2 boxes, man, just for fun. I feel like I'm just going to get drunk one night and be so tempted to just open the box just to see what's inside.
But why?
Because I'm a curious person, man, for better or worse.
But you can't think of it like that. You need to think of it as an investment. Like, you're buying this because it has a track record of appreciating in value, and sometime in the future, you're going to exit that position.
I guess, but that kind of takes away all the fun of it. Like,
so right there, the fun of it. Think about how many people want to buy back their childhoods.
Yeah, dude. When I was a kid, I hated reading, and I would just buy books because the covers looked pretty. The cover art was nice, and I would just have them. Now I love reading for the content. It's just a different type of sway. I mean, for these, like, I could just buy empty boxes and keep them there, and they have no sentimental value. But why would I make an investment with something that I have sentimental value? It just gives me another barrier for me to overcome to not open this thing. Like, why buy it in the first place?
Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem for you.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I need therapy.
And not maybe. That definitely sounds like a personal problem. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 5 boxes just sitting here next to me. I have no desire to rip any of them.
I don't know, man. If you never get curious about it, I think that your nostalgia factor is not big enough.
I'm not into Pokemon.
Okay, well, that right there is what you should have led with, because that's the.
I did lead with that. I said I'm not into it. I said it last night. I said it today. I'm not into it.
Yeah, like for me, I would buy a box and it can be like, I would convince myself, like, that there's probably
I
something.
never played the game. I don't want to play the game. I could care less about. This is straight business.
Fair enough. Okay. Where do you buy it? Where do you buy them? Where are the places people can buy them?
So a LGS, a local game store, eBay. You can buy it from a bunch of different websites. You can buy them in Target. I mean, there's a bunch of places to buy them.
I feel like, so, okay. His dealer. Okay. So do you just predominantly, is your card portfolio heavily concentrated in Pokemon, or do you actually what's the split between Pokemon versus Magic versus like sports, for example?
I don't have any Magic, and Magic is a definite. I haven't done the background on it, but I do know from watching Alpha Investments, he's the head. Like, anybody who's in the comments, if anybody's talking about Magic, I don't look at the comments because I don't want to laugh like Tevis. They'll know who Rudy is. Magic has a history of appreciating in value. I am much more in the sports realm when you look at everything I have, because with sports, unlike Pokemon, you have 1 of 1s, 1 of 5s, 1 of 20s. Like you have limited print runs, you have auto cards, you got auto patches. So like there's a player that I'm pretty hot on right now, Yordan Alvarez. He's on the Astros. The kid's 25 or 26 years old.
Yeah.
I think he has 119. I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on.
So
He has
this is where I wanted to pivot the conversation because
120, no, 129 home runs so far. I think he's going to be a 500 or 600 home run club guy if he doesn't get injured. So I've been buying RPAs, which are rookie auto patches, because they're very limited. And that's straight speculation, because if he gets injured, it's not going to work out well. That's a good thing about Pokemon. I don't have to worry about players getting injured or who's going to win the World Series or anything like that. Look, Patrick Mahomes, you know who Patrick Mahomes is, right?
Yeah, the football guy.
One of his rookie cards, this kid entered the league in 2017. One of his rookie cards sold for $4 million.
Yeah. How long has he been in how far into his career is he?
He's like 28. He's young. I mean, got 3 Super Bowls now. I mean,
so here's the thing, and that's where I wanted to go with this conversation, is because one thing that we've established is that Pokemon has no nostalgic factor for you because you never played, and it does have a nostalgic factor for me. So for me, for example, I would love to maybe avoid the Pokemon because I don't know if I can, deal with the temptation to open these things. Magic, sure. But sports is what I was thinking, just to buy some rookie cards for.
Yeah, so you're probably, instead of speculating on rookies, and people make money. So one of the ways people make money is, you know what a jeweler loop is?
Nope.
The little thing that you look at diamonds with. You can get one for like $10 on Amazon. People will walk around with those at a card show, and they will go through raw cards, and they will put them under this little handheld microscope, for lack of a better word, and look at every aspect, and they'll buy a ton of them. Then they'll send them out to be graded. And then after they grade them, all the PSA 10s, they'll flip them on eBay. I mean, you can 3, 4, 5x your money doing that. It's an involved process, but if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money doing it. I would just buy a box of like Topps Chrome every year. And I would do the same methodology, and I have been doing that. Obviously, I have the Judge boxes. I should have bought 2019 or 2018 when Ohtani came out, because those boxes are freaking so much value. But if you buy boxes every year, eventually you're going to have the year when, like I would do basketball. I have a theory. Basketball is better than the other sports for the simple fact that they're not wearing helmets. They're more recognizable, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to have stars in basketball. That's just my own personal opinion. But you buy the set every year, you're going to get the LeBron rookies. You're going to get the Curry rookies. You're going to get all those. So maybe you do it with sports.
So in basketball, you buy it's the same thing, right? You buy a pack and it's like random cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this case, I would open up the cards and only keep the rookie ones.
I mean, listen, if you want to do that, you buy 2 of each box, you keep one sealed, and you rip the other one and try to pull the rookies, send them out to get graded.
Right. Seems like a lot of effort, man.
Yeah, it's more effort than just buying and selling a share of a stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I'm into this stuff, so to me, it's not.
No, it's interesting. The other thing that, and I mean, we could talk about this offline, but it still counts as an alternative asset. The one thing that I was more interested in was coins.
All about it.
Just because I'm a history nerd, and
no, I'm not from that aspect. Physical bullion is always a good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would never buy like gold, like a brick of gold or whatever. But I feel like a coin from a certain year, from a certain a certain type of coin, like I feel like that would be something that I would gravitate to collecting over time. But
do you have any Maple Leafs?
No, Canadian coins. There's no history in Canada, man. Like,
you buy them for the melt value. What do you, dude?
Melt value? What are we? Is this apocalypse? What melt value, dude? Like, I just told you I'm into history. I don't give a shit about that.
Get it, but dude, like we're gonna have a conversation about that offline.
Okay. The other question I had, since we're 45 minutes into this, and by the way, everybody, Steven's channel, Alternative Assets Weekly, is pinned in the comments. So definitely go check that out. Go subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Yeah, go subscribe. And let's get him up. I think he was at 85 or so last time I checked. Let's get him up to 100 this stream. There's easily 40 to 50 of you watching live right now. I think that's very doable. So just click on the pinned comment and go subscribe to Steve. You're at 90 already. So, okay, the thing that I wanted to ask you, since we're 45 minutes into this thing, what are the ones that you're across the grid, Pokemon, Magic, sports, whatever, what are maybe, let's say, top 3 that you're the most bullish on going forward? Like, what are the, if I asked you banks, you would say, oh, JP Morgan, but don't, or Citi, you would say Citi, but don't buy Wells, for example. Like, what is the list for alternative assets?
So I'll tell you what I'm going to look for the next time I go to a show. Okay. So I'm going to bring it up and we will look at it together.
While he's bringing it up, click on the pinned comment, open a new tab, subscribe to Steve for Alternative Assets Weekly. Steve, do you have a recurring cadence of when you release videos?
No, I need to figure that out.
He is figuring it out. You do now have a nice intro, which we're going to also make as our outro.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So obviously I'm not going to drop 400 grand on a fucking PSA 10. Ooh. That's not happening. But
I was just going to say I would buy that, but no, it's 400 grand, so maybe not.
I wouldn't be opposed to working out a deal for PSA 9. So here's why. You go back to the PSA 10, 372,000. PSA 9, $15,248. I don't have a huge chart on this because I'm not a subscriber sports car investor. But as of as early as the beginning of the year, this had several sales over 20 grand. The Jordan market fluctuates, but I do not believe LeBron is better than Jordan. I don't believe LeBron is better than Kobe.
Agreed.
I think Jordan cards are undervalued. And this is something, even if you want to go to like a PSA 6, PSA 6 is 4,500, PSA 5 is 3,250. I mean, you start getting into those areas, you could see movement if you're willing to hold this and you start getting those GOAT debates when LeBron goes into the Hall of Fame. I think that this is something that could do well and could be an interesting investment.
Well, even like tangential things like, so for example, the documentary that came out
Last Dance
on Netflix, exactly, The Last Dance, like even those types of things will bring this up again and you'll have another little boost into it.
Yeah, and I think about Steph Curry. This is a card I do want to get. Hold on.
I think you're convincing some people in the chat to actually buy playing cards.
So Curry's PSA 10 is last sale is $6 grand. Kid's not done yet. Got a couple of good solid years left. He's going to go down as one of the greats.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to investing in him. I need to do more research on it, but it's something that's on my list that I want to pick up at a show. Stuff like that. There's a Jeter card that I want. I don't have a PSA 9. I have a PSA 8.
So like the actual PSA ratings, like literally only collectors care about that, right? Like nobody else cares. Like between a 9 and a 10, it's barely it's like in this.
No, it's money, man. Like a PSA 9 last sale was $3,900. A PSA 8 was $273. So if you buy this card raw, okay, it's going for $86 raw. So that's why they walk around with these microscope things. Because if you can get a good enough card to submit, like you're into this for $86, you submit it and you get PSA 8.
Right.
your last sale's 273, grading's $20. You get a 9 out of it. Think about how much money you just made.
Let me ask you this, Steve. Is there a lot of variance in grading? Because I watched your first video, and your first video, I think, was talking about the different
PSA
grading.
versus BGS versus SGC.
Yeah. Is there a lot of variance? Like if I submit the same card, will the 3 agencies or
Yes.
whatever, will I get different ratings?
Yes. Funny you asked that. So
Okay.
Aaron Judge. Okay. Bring up my screen again.
Yeah.
It's coming up now. So this exact card, the Topps Chrome. Okay. This was going for a lot more money previously. They don't have the SGC 10 pristine grade. So SGC has an SGC 10 pristine. There's only 26 of them in existence. I own 2 of them. My buddy owns 4 of them. Okay. We owned at one point 20% of the market.
Okay, that's not encouraging me to buy this shit, Steve.
Hold on. We wanted to get so they don't have the black label. BGS black label is like the most covenant thing. There's only like 7 or 8 of them, something like that, maybe 10. I don't remember. But if you get BGS black label, it's unbelievable. So SGC 10 pristine is the hardest mark from SGC. He sent it in and cracked it. Came back as a BGS 9.5, which goes for $97. Lost money on it. So you could have a perfect card by one company. Another company won't see it the same way.
So like, okay, let's say I do 2 rating agencies. Can I say, oh, I don't know, say I'm a 9 here and then the other one rated me an 8. Can I hide that and say, oh, actually, I've only done it for one agency. It's a 9.
Well, it never comes off the pop report. You need to send it in and they crack it. And then
what does that mean? You're just saying words, dude. I don't know what they mean.
Okay. So
I don't know what pops is. I don't know what cracking is.
Okay. You have 3 main grading. All right. We need examples. Hold on.
Okay. Oh man. He went to the other room to get his cards for sure. For sure. Everybody take a chance. Now that you have a moment to click on the pinned link and subscribe to Steve's channel, Alternative Asset Weekly. He's already at 97. Let's get him to 100. And if you want more of this alternative asset stuff, whether it's coins, cards, or anything in between, Steve's your guy.
All right. So I didn't want to get the big case out. All right. And I'm going to turn the background off because I think it's going to screw this stuff up.
Yeah, somebody said, Ken Megan said, you just walk like through the wall like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, pretty much. Settings.
Man, you should read some of these comments. Oh man, I don't know how I've kept it together this well so far.
So I just grabbed what I had out. So I had a Jeter BGS 7.5 out. The guy Jordan I was talking about, I have a Topps Gypsy Auto SGC 9 card grade, 10 auto grade, and then
okay, hold on. So when they
I've been speculating in Charizards. So basically, you have
hold on.
legitimately been speculating in Charizards. You can take it off. What are you doing?
How many Charizards do you have? I'm going to go off the screen, and I want you to actually show it on the big screen. Yeah. We just got the thumbnail for the next video. Steve holding up thousands of dollars. Just don't publish your address because people will find you and get the Charizards. Why aren't those? Those are expensive.
Have fun getting in my building, and we believe in the Second Amendment. Don't worry about that.
Steve's gonna shoot your ass. So when you sent this to get graded, so let's say I have a card.
So yeah, I'm going to explain the whole
I
thing.
have like one of these, let's say, and I send it to the agency to get graded. Then that's when they add the plastic covering
Correct.
with the rating. And so what you mean by cracking is I have to literally break the thing and send it again?
Yeah, so I actually bought some raw Japanese cards that I plan on sending out to get graded. So right here, you got a Gem 10, a PSA Gem 10. Okay, you send this card in to get graded. You got your three main grading companies. You got PSA, you got SGC, and you got BGS. Okay. If you don't like the grade, PSA has the most value. Why are you laughing? Okay, I see why you're laughing because I just looked at the comments.
Steve sleeps with the water.
So if you oh my god.
Sorry.
And by the way, these Charizards are not expensive. I don't think there's one that's more than $70 in here. Like I said, I'm speculating. But anyway,
continue. Sorry.
So there's population reports. So if you go to psa.com and you pull up the population report, it'll show you every single card that was graded and how many were in each grade. And that's where I took those statistics from. So like the Jeter card has something like 15,000 cards graded with PSA.
So,
Every time they grade, there's a number right here that you can go into the site, type that number in, and you'll see that this is legit. I didn't take this out and put a different card in there.
that's cool. So let me ask you this. Are the three grading agencies, are those like the only ones is that
there's more, but they're not worth using in my opinion. And people look for value. So like SGC slabs don't retain value the way that PSA does. There's a much bigger markup on PSA. They have most of the market. That's the slab case people want. So people will go on eBay. They will type in a certain card and put SGC 10 after it. They will buy them and then they will send them to PSA to be regraded and hope to get a PSA 10. Now, when that happens and that SGC card gets cracked, SGC doesn't know. So let's just say that they graded 100 of them and you bought 2 of them and sent them to PSA to be cracked. Now there's really only 98 in an SGC 10, but SGC doesn't know that you just cracked it out of their case.
Right. So you're artificially inflating the supply. So that's where I was going to ask, do all three grading agencies, can I see the aggregate results of everything that's been graded in order to get an estimation of the total cards out there? Like, let's say 1,000.
You watched my last video. You should know that answer. I did all the work.
Well, I mean, I didn't pay attention the whole way through.
All right, we're going to the population report right now.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to show you. So the Jeter card, okay?
Got it.
And this is why it is so expensive for that 93 rookie.
You're at 99. Who is going to be the 100th subscriber? 100th subscriber gets one of Steve's Charizards, everybody. I'm refreshing my screen. Let me know if that's you.
We can work something out.
I'll unsubscribe and subscribe again. Give me a Charizard, baby. Oh, you're at 100. There you go.
Thank you, guys.
There you go.
279. All right, so we got to go down to 279.
Can I throw up your screen or?
Yeah, one sec.
Okay. What's Steve's podcast? Oh, sorry. What's Steve's podcast channel? It's in the pinned comment. It's called Alternative Asset Weekly. Just click on the pinned comment and open it in a new tab. He has 2 videos out right now.
This one will be up there at some point. I will be releasing more content.
We are going to get this video up right there. And yeah.
All right, you can share it. So this is the population report. So that Derek Jeter SP foil card in a PSA 10 that was selling for $375,000, there's only 21 of those in existence. there are almost 23,000 of that card that were sent to PSA to be graded, and only 21 came back at PSA 10. 622 of them came back at PSA 9. 9,546 came back as a PSA 8, and so on and so on.
And just to confirm, this is the total amount of cards. That's what you mean by population,
That
right?
was sent in to be graded, not that was printed. So let's say there was 1 million printed from Upper Deck, okay? 23,000 were sent to PSA to be graded, and only 21 are PSA 10. Now, the same thing for the other companies. The other companies will have population reports also, and they will show how many got each of their grades. So what people will do is they'll look and they'll see how many of a specific one are out there. Like when I looked at Curry versus LeBron versus Kobe, Curry had the least amount of cards sent in to be graded, and there was a less population. Then you can get really technical about Topps Chrome versus Bowman Chrome and start trying to backdoor your way into the print runs and how many of those cards were sent in and what could be more rare, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's a lot of things that you can do in the market to make money, especially walking around at shows, going through dollar boxes or $5 boxes and buying cards that they just want to get out of and sending them in to get graded. Like if you know what you're doing and you study it, you can certainly do well doing that, but it's time consuming. I mean, I'm going to bring something up. There's a NY Sports Card Show. So the card show, I think there's one this weekend, actually. Oh, so the Long Island National is in April, okay? All these players will be there signing. 400 tables are going to be at this convention. I mean, it's pretty big. Like if we go to the calendar, so this is the big one, the March Madness one up in Westchester, 500 tables at this show. This is big. I mean, this is a big market.
So when you say show, is that just like a convention where you walk
Oh
around?
yeah, this is a convention. It's 3 days, an entire weekend in Westchester, and there's 500 tables of dealers there selling their stuff. Like we could get a table and just sell our stuff there if we want and sign up to be a dealer.
What do you need to do to sign up to be a dealer? Do you need like a special license?
No, you just pay money.
Oh, yeah, of course you just pay money.
Just pay money.
Cool. What else do we want to chat through, Steve? Is there anything else that we want to cover in
Oh
this?
shit! It was sharing the wrong screen.
No, I saw the screen on the shows. I don't know what you're.
Oh, it looked like it was sharing the wrong screen. You saw the not the Google search page. You saw the other page, right?
No, I saw the Google search page.
Oh no, hold on. Stop screen, present. Here, go back to it real quick.
Steve, by the way, who do you think is the GOAT? LeBron, Kobe, MJ, or
Jordan?
Curry? Good answer.
Jordan, then Kobe.
Yeah, Jordan and Kobe, sure. Yeah.
There's no question about it. So like this show is 3 days long. There's 500 tables there. You're gonna have grading services there. You're gonna have heritage auction there. I mean, this is wild. The amount of people that go to this stuff is crazy. And this is nothing new. I used to go to shows when I was a kid back in the 80s. Like this is nothing new.
So do you actually go to these shows like in your free time or like not so much?
You may see me live vlogging from one of these shows in the future.
Oh, snap. I would definitely subscribe to the channel for that.
I mean, look, there are people that make some really good YouTube content and they live vlog from all these shows. And they actually vlog from a vendor perspective of selling. They vlog walking around. I mean, if you start really watching the stuff the way I do to study the market, it's crazy what these guys are doing.
When you go to these shows, do you have like a specific goal in mind? Like, hey, I need a PSA 9 Charizard or whatever? Or like you have a laundry list of stuff that you're looking for? Or is it just more ad hoc?
I'm going to use an analogy that you'll laugh at. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
All right.
You walk in with a plan, but
So, okay.
stuff just kind of jumps out at you when you start looking around and stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah, I never thought I would hear a Mike Tyson analogy at a card convention, but here we are.
Why?
We have
Tyson
crossed that bridge.
memorabilia is at a card convention.
Let's check on your subscriber count, Steve. You're at 102, baby.
Thank you. And seriously, if you're interested in the grading thing, that video, I broke everything down and I did all the charts based on the population reports. Like, I think I did a very good job explaining in that video with the visuals. And this is a very interesting market. And I do think that it's very big because of what I see. Like, if you go on YouTube and if you just look at Sports Card Investor, Cards HQ, which is his shop, it's unbelievable.
So let me ask you this, because I know it came up in the chat. Oh, by the way, so in the chat, we're going to wrap this up, within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Throw up your questions, actually, questions that you have for Steve or for alternative assets, and I will make sure that they get brought up. One of the questions, that I have, do you collect anything else? Sneakers was something that came up.
Yeah.
So
I know people that are sneaker heads and do invest in sneakers.
So no sneakers for you. What do you, Aaron asks, what do you think of silver coins? Silver coins, gold coins, anything in between?
I don't think that unless you're going to go from a historical standpoint, I have a different stance on the physical bullion market. And I think that if you're doing it for an investment, you need to know what you're doing with the spot price of silver and gold. Now, if you are buying it for store value, I'm all for it because silver is used in manufacturing, it's used in jewelry, it's used in so many things. So store value, it's going to be okay. But I don't know how much runway there is for the spot price of silver to appreciate because it's been stuck in the 20s for quite some time. And, you also have to be careful about the buying silver rounds versus buying actual sovereign minted coins. Two completely different things because you can get a premium selling back sovereign coins, but you're going to get paid less on rounds. So it's really store value versus investment. And then paying the least amount over spot, you get a better deal buying bars than you do coins. And then which coins do you buy? Silver Eagles have a higher premium than Canadian Maples. Britannicas from London, I believe it's London or Britain. No, I think they're British Britannicas. And then you have the Krugerrands. I mean, there's all different types of sovereign coins, but premiums are different, but the silver counts the same. So it's just where it's minted, stuff like that. There's a lot to look at from that.
Yeah, that was way more of a detailed answer than I was expecting to get. You're clearly very knowledgeable about this. If you want to hear Steve talk about silver coins next, go to his channel. Let me see what we have here. Do you collect coins, like relative to cards? Let's put it that way.
Depends what your definition of collect is.
The same shit you're doing with the cards, dude.
There may be coins as a store of value somewhere.
Okay. You have like a pirate chest in your storage locker?
No, but there may be safety deposit box somewhere with some bullion in it.
I think you answered this, but maybe you just want to definitively.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No, I'm just saying no. Like I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
They tried it. It didn't work. They're not going to do it again.
Let's see. Did you have a Stormtrooper wedding?
No. What part of I'm not into Pokemon? Like
Star Wars, bro.
All right. Which one was the best Star Wars?
The best? I don't know, man. I don't know that shit.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me that. What do you guys think of Bitcoin? Steve, are you investing in alternative assets because you missed Bitcoin? Let's ask this.
No, I'm not a believer in Bitcoin.
And that's all you need to know, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but let me say the piece on that.
Sure.
Do I believe it's a store of value? Sure, because one person is going to pay somebody else for it. So is it a store of value? Absolutely. Do I believe that it has any inherent value for doing anything other than being a store of value? No, because the settlement time and the volatility is too great. So if you actually want to do what they set out to do, Solana and XRP has much better underlying technology where you have settlements in like 3 seconds and much less volatility. So if you want to pay somebody cross border, Bitcoin's probably not the best way to go because it can move too much by the time it settles.
So, okay, well, let me then, because that's a very technical answer. Do you believe in any crypto?
I believe that I hold XRP.
Great. There you go. You have your answer. Does the missus approve this style of investing? Because we know she's the real investor in the family.
Yeah, I don't think she cares.
So that's a no. Does she ever get pissed at you for just like, Steven, another box of Pokemon cards came in?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, got it. Records? Any nostalgia there?
Funny, we were cleaning out my parents' basement and they had a bunch of old records and we took wild. So if you're familiar with New York, we took them to this record, like straight vinyl shop in Brooklyn. You went in, the whole place reeked like weed. Reeked. They weren't worth anything. So
Yeah.
mine now.
I got about 200 vinyl records that I'm looking at right now.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so do you collect anything else? Anything out of the ordinary?
No, I mean baseball cards, like
Beanie Babies, Sour Patch Kids, anything like that?
No, sports memor. It started with sports memorabilia, and I told my wife I wasn't going to do anything else, and then it kind of moved into cards a little bit, and
Mhm.
now it's buying sealed product as an alternative asset.
Which alternative asset do you own the most of?
Probably baseball sports memorabilia. That's definitely it.
What's your favorite grading agency?
PSA. I like the way that SGC slabs look the best. I like the BGS label because of the subgrades, but you got to go PSA because that's where the value is.
Do you collect guns?
No comment.
It's a very American question. No comment. I mean, you live in a blue state, so.
Next.
Video games.
No.
Not a big.
I wish I still had my old video games because they're probably worth some money.
Sure. Yeah. Do you collect Hot Wheels?
No, although I could see that being big because there's a lot of different toy conventions.
They're making a comeback.
Yeah, I am going to look at. So I will say that I do have sealed toys because when I was younger, when Star Wars did their re-release of the line, I bought all those figures and I still have them in the package, and I have some stuff from the original Star Wars stuff sitting in a bin somewhere. But not many. Nothing like crazy.
Cool. Gold or silver? Maybe just expanding on your original answer there around silver.
I mean, there's only one way to do this.
Ooh, Doofus actually asked a great question. I don't know if I want to bring it up on screen or not, but I will. Any sealed? Are you a man of culture? No comment, or no? I don't collect.
No. Why would you? That's not it. I mean, yes, sure, an investment, right?
I mean, they have a limited supply as well. People collect them.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. Not something I ever thought of, to be truthfully.
I feel like that's an iconic brand. Like people.
Yeah, you know what?
It's very deeply embedded in American culture. I feel like
I will tell you that I wouldn't be surprised if I saw graded magazines at some point.
Ooh.
Now I'm going to pay attention to that.
That would be a much different grading process than Pokemon cards.
Why? Why? You sent to CGC. They do concert tickets. Concert tickets is big. Sporting event tickets is big. I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Speaking of sort of similar comics,
Yeah, comics. I have quite a few.
right? You showed us once a Spider-Man comic, right? How
Yeah,
is it you collect comics but not like? Anyways, okay, doesn't matter.
because my uncle's brother's an artist for Marvel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I used to collect comics, and I really wanted that Todd McFarlane autograph, so I bought it.
Hmm.
Bring up my screen.
Yeah, one sec. Yep, screen, hide that.
So, like I was talking about with silver, let me make it a little bigger for you. So, when you look at 1 ounce silver coins, even though they're all 1 ounce, they have all different prices. The Maple Leafs are 23.63. You got the Bryn Britannicas 25.72. You got the Cougarants at 25.78, and then the American Eagles are as low as 27.58. And even what is this? Never seen that before. Like that's cool. I'll probably just buy it. But I like stuff like this. Like I'll buy coins like this. I think they look cool. But
you don't buy it for its actual like mint or historical value or anything like that. You just buy it because it's like for the actual silver.
for the silver content, yeah.
That kind of takes it out. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like you're killing the
No,
spirit
there's
of these
stuff I
things.
buy because of the look of it. I mean, there's
I don't know.
just some dragon stuff that look pretty cool that I bought. I mean,
like I just feel like you're crushing the soul of these things where like you buy all of these Pokemon boxes which carry so much
like,
nostalgia.
look at this.
so
Tell
many
me that
people.
this bar isn't cool.
No, it's absolutely you're missing my point. Like it's cool, but I don't know. Like if you're just gonna buy it for the silver, just buy a fucking brick of silver.
Like this. Or like these. Like I think that that's pretty cool,
yeah, sure.
you know? But yeah, there's a ton of different stuff. You start talking about gold and silver, it's okay, so what do you want to buy? You want to buy bars? You want to buy coins? Like they got bars that are pretty cool, like these dragon bars. And some people will pay a little bit more of a spot because of the design. But you can see up here, the spot price on gold is 2024. If you pay cash, you can get an ounce of it for 2,073. But if you pay by credit card, they charge you the VIG, so to speak, for the processing charge. So you also got to look at it like that. So, and that's why I said you got to really be careful because, like silver, the cheapest 1 ounce silver bar you can buy is as low as 24.83, and then the cheapest 1 ounce silver coin you can buy is 23.63. So you got to look at, if you're purely going from a content perspective, where you get the lowest spread over spot, and then do you go non-sovereign and do you go rounds? And then the cheapest silver round on a 1 ounce is 24.48. So there's actually sovereign coins that are the cheapest right now.
I'm actually learning so much on the stream, like legitimately learning so much. I feel like I don't know, like I would buy these, but I would never buy the amounts.
Like, tell me that's not cool.
No,
like
it's
even if you put on a credit card for 26.65, tell me that's not cool.
You're the guy that always fell for the infomercials, aren't you? Tell me.
No, but this is an ounce of silver.
No, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never buy
an infomercial thing. Like, this is freaking silver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I would buy one for like, I would keep it on my desk or put it somewhere here, and it'd be cool to have like just a, fun little thing. But I would never buy like.
Can we show a picture from YouTube on this?
I mean, sure.
So there's this guy, Yankee Stacking. You want to learn about gold and silver? Follow Yankee Stacking. Okay. He interviews this guy. He's always in this coin shop, right? And I want to bring up.
While
this is nuts.
While Steve brings that up, if you have not had a chance to do so already, click on the pinned comment, which will take you to Steve's channel, Alternative Asset Weekly, and subscribe to Steve. We're trying to increase. This is a donation stream. This is a charity event.
I was just being very nice with the charity event.
For the poor. We're trying to
share my screen. This is wild. And this guy never shows his face.
Jesus.
That's all silver.
Is that like a Tesla skateboard?
He laid all of it out on his dining room table. It's crazy. So at the end, he goes over how much silver he has. Like he's got bars in here. It gets wild. And he's got like 74 grand of silver laid out here or something.
This is like those doomsday preppers who have like a full bunker of like canned food in the basement.
Yeah, he didn't show any of the gold. This is just his silver. I mean, look at all this. Wait, hold on. Look at all the constitutional silver. Look at that. Just constitutional 90% silver. Yeah, it's wild. But yes, you want to learn about gold and silver, follow Yankee Stacking. Like he's got 148,000 subscribers. And the interviews with the coin shop owner, Tim, that guy right there, and he legitimately does shows inside the coin shop. Very interesting stuff. You learn a lot.
Wow. I am genuinely shocked and impressed and dumbfounded a little bit.
What do you mean?
I mean, it gets it becomes a logistical problem at some point. Like, where are you going to keep all the, what are you, the U.S. Treasury? Like, where are you going to keep all this shit?
Well, so this guy's never shown his face. He lives in New Hampshire, and he has made comments, and Tim has made comments about good luck getting into this guy's house. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a prepper.
Dude, that guy has a huge gun collection. You just know.
Arsenal.
You just know that guy has he just pulls something and it just goes into the.
Oh, no, we're talking the guy's probably got open carry and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You just know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not going to that guy's house.
When the zombies come. But, like, even when the zombies come, what is he going to do with all that fucking silver? Is he going to just melt it all? Like, what are you going to do?
No, listen, some people don't believe in the stock market. Some people do truly believe that the end of days is coming. They're going to be able to barter with this because U.S. money is being printed too much and it's going to lose its value. Like there are people that really think like that.
Look, man, if the end of days comes, the only thing you're going to be bartering with is food, ammo, bare necessities. Nobody's going to be like, oh, wait a minute, silver retains value. Let's actually trade.
My wife thought I was nuts because I wanted to get that 20-year shelf life food that comes in the big freaking bins and everything. She's like, you're not going to eat that. I'm like, listen, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
I mean, I'm sure that's his argument as well for buying all that silver, but
I would never buy that much silver.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, certainly not like that. Like if I'm going to get like that, I'm buying bars. I'm not buying freaking bags of just.
Yeah, all these coins.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but listen, the whole coin market is a big rabbit hole that I've gone down. Very big rabbit hole.
Yeah, we started at Pokemon cards. We went into sports cards, and now we're in this.
If you want to get into watches, we can get one of my buddies on here. Like my buddy will take you down a Rolex rabbit hole and an AP rabbit hole like you've never believed. If I show you some of the group text messages about this stuff, I mean,
you don't need to show me. You need to show the 104 subscribers you have on your channel.
Nice. But yeah, the watch market, like if you want to learn about the watch market, there's this guy, Roman, who has a channel, Gray Market. I wonder how many subscribers he has.
Yeah, this is Steve. I've got a guy. Ooh, great question. What about stamps?
I'm not into it, but I know there's a big market. I'm just not into it.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know.
Look, I mean, when you say alternative assets, it's so broad that it can mean anything from comic books to Playboy magazines to watches to, exotic cars.
Dude, this guy has got 436,000 subscribers. He has a huge secondary business in selling watches and jewelry, it huge. So you want to go down a rabbit hole, you watch this guy. It's very entertaining, actually.
Yeah. I feel like I would go down the rabbit hole, but never actually buy a watch. This is the thing that I don't understand. Like stocks, I understand the value of them. I understand their purpose for existence is I buy them and it's a stake in a company. That company creates a tangible value. And as a result, my stock either goes up or down. I get it. Alternative assets, I can wrap my head around it. But I guess the reason why I never jumped into it as an investment vehicle was because the investment is always secondary. Pokemon is an actual game that, kids play or people play. Watches, people wear them to tell the time. Like all of these things that you are buying or that these people are buying, they have primary functions. Like investment is not their primary function. Store of value is not their primary function.
Some would disagree.
Yeah, but like the vast majority of the world would agree.
Many would disagree with the watch aspect. Like, go try to get a Rolex.
Dude, I'm not talking about the Rolex and the premium. Okay. I'm talking about a regular $20 watch on Walmart. I'm just saying.
But that's not even though that's technically an asset, that's not an investment because there's no true secondary market for that. Even in Omega, there isn't really the secondary market for it. It's really it's just the high-end brands, like the more well-known ones, Patek, AP, and Rolex, and then you get into your Richard Mille and all these other ones.
Yeah, but it's the scarcity that makes them. Yeah,
I mean, you can't go like it's crazy that you can't go to a store and just go buy an AP. I think if you want a Royal Oak, you're paying like 40 over list for it or something like that. It's wild.
Sure, but my point is, I can buy a Mickey Mouse watch from the '90s that they don't make anymore, and you have scarcity. Like, so my point is, it becomes a subjective conversation.
It becomes subjective, but because more people want it, they can get it because you can't just go in and go get a Daytona. You can't just go in and get a freaking back row GMT. Like you can't walk into a Rolex dealer and get them. That's why they go over market value on the secondary.
I love this comment. I don't know if it's sarcastic or not. They can print stocks. They can't recreate a collectible. Like, Mark, they can print more cards, right? Like,
So, can we play? You know who Patrick Bet-David is, right?
Yeah, I don't like him that much, but yeah,
really,
sure. I don't. He always comes off as like a huge grifter to me.
He's no.
He's probably not, but it's just how he sounds and looks and feels.
Do you know his backstory?
Yes, I'm an immigrant. Okay. He came to the U.S. as a kid or something, and
it's a phenomenal backstory, and I thank him for his service in the military. The guy's done a lot of good things. There's Graham Stephan is, right?
Yeah, I know him.
Graham Stephan interviewed Patrick Bet-David about sports cards. It's like a 4-minute clip. Okay. It's amazing.
Okay. Did you want to play the clip? Or?
Yeah, let's play
it. When I was a boy in Bulgaria. Oh, that right there. That's quality stock market humor. You got to understand the context behind that one.
This is wild. All right, I'm going to play it.
So I hope when you play this, you might get demonetized, but you're probably.
It's not like I'm making money from the YouTube channel.
I mean, I don't know, man.
It's all good.
Go for it.
Are you holding on to right now?
Real estate that you can't have, like waterfront properties are non-duplicatable. You can't build waterfront properties. Mm-hmm. It's just a waterfront property. Okay. Mm-hmm. Real estate in a freeway or a, section community that everybody wants to be there because
location-based real estate.
Location-based real estate is, to me, is non-duplicatable. Collectible cards is non-duplicatable. I'm not an NFT guy. Some people are NFTs. It's not what I specialize in. It's anything that I can't have that there's one-offs or two-offs or five-offs or limited amount of supply for it.
What's your most valuable alternative investment, like a sports card or something like that?
What would be a sports card today?
No, for you.
For me?
Yeah. What's the most valuable sports card or collectible item
that I have right now?
Yeah.
I sold 2 of them. It was a record I sold. And I'll tell you what happened when I sold this card. This is exactly a mistake I made. So I bought these 2 hockey cards for $540. 18 months later, I sold those 2 hockey cards. It was a record-breaking card ever in the history of hockey. I sold the 2 for $2.2 million in 18 months. Okay. Made nice money. One of the cars a guy bought 6 months later, he sold for $3.5 million.
One of them?
Wow. Jeez.
You should put it up.
Yeah.
You should actually show this.
Okay.
Show mine when
we
I
will.
sold it for
Yeah.
$1.29 million. 6 months later, he sold for $3.5 million
Wow.
in Gretzky card. So I missed out on how much money? $2.3 million. So, oh my God, look how much money. Well, I missed out, right? Because that was a non-duplicatable asset. One of the guys that tried to buy my card was Wayne Gretzky. He wanted to buy his own card because there's only 2 graded at that level. I got a call from Bruce McNall. I don't know if you know who Bruce McNall is, the former owner of the LA Kings and the former owner of the best Honus Wagner card in the world that he bought with Wayne Gretzky at a New York auction in 1994, I believe, for $451. That's a $15 million card today. I own a high-end Mickey Mantle card. I own some high-end basketball cards. I got some stuff. I got probably $6 to an $8 million card collection today.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Where else are you investing? Are you invested in stock?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
That is,
So you start looking at stuff like 52 mantles and 56 mantles, and even the lower grade stuff. The 51 Bowman is like the true mantle rookie because it's 51, not 52. Everybody recognizes the 52 mantle. But last year, there was a big push with people investing in the 51 specifically for that reason. So even getting the lower grade ones could be a very good investment because you're not making 51 mantles ever again.
Yeah. I found it interesting because people here were talking about somebody brought up vinyl again. And as Patrick Bet David was talking, I remembered in my like when I was in university, I would just buy them. And I found 2 first edition Pink Floyd albums that I still have. I still have their first album.
Nice.
That's the first print. And last time I checked, I think this was like 2017, 2018 was the last time I checked. It was like $1,000 to sell this thing on eBay. So I'm not sure what it is now, but I totally forgotten about it because it's, just sitting there with I would never sell it.
Yeah, but that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example. I mean, like you said before, anything can theoretically be an alternative asset, but in order for it to actually be worth something, somebody else is going to want to pay for it. Pink Floyd has a huge following. The Beatles have a huge following. You're going to find people that are interested in that. The reason that I am interested in getting a high-grade Jordan card is because the 51 mantle and the 52 mantle and stuff like that, I'm not so sure that 20 years from now, when the younger generation are the ones that are buying everything, I don't know that they're going to care about it. They're going to care about Jordan because their parents saw Jordan play.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So I
Again,
think that Jordan's going to
right?
be a good investment.
It's nostalgia. You had the sports cards before you had the Pokemon cards, and then you had Magic and Pokemon, and then I don't know what the next wave is going to be, but it's all digital. That's what I'm saying. Like Pokemon is probably bigger than everything else combined because it was the last bastion essentially before the digital age came through.
Yeah, and I don't know that anything digital will seriously be considered collectibles. Like I know people go crazy over skins and stuff like that. I just I don't know. I think that there's just something about being able to hold it. I just think there's something about that. And look, these people are in communities about, like, you look at these trade shows and you look at how big the national.
Yeah. I want to ask you this because I think this is an important distinction. This person says it's very important to determine whether you're an investor or a collector before you spend a dime. Where would you put yourself in that bucket? Like an investor, i.e., I'm buying today to flip tomorrow. A collector is like, this gives me joy to collect. I'm going to hold this because it makes me happy kind of thing.
I bought this for me.
Yeah.
And I bought this as an investment.
So you would never sell that first one?
No, and that's not even my highest grade. It's just what I had out. Like the higher grade one I have is somewhere else. It's not at my physical location. Like Somebody breaks in and wants to steal a 7.5 Beckett that costs $150. Have fun. You know what I mean?
Like, well, okay, so I guess that's what well, if somebody does break in, which one would you be more heartbroken over getting stolen?
The you are done, because I think there's more inherent value in it in the future. I don't think the Beckett 7.5 Jeter is going to move that much in value. That's just something that I have out underneath my TV type thing. Like all my expensive stuff is not on site.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. I consider myself both, but like I'm bringing up something right now. It's so wild. Bring on my screen. I don't even care about the monetization. Hey, look how fucking big this is.
Yeah, insane.
Like it is wild. So yeah, I am a collector of certain things, and I'm an investor in other things. But I certainly wouldn't be putting money that you can't afford to lose into this stuff. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that surprised me about you being so deep in alternative assets is because you're a very measured, sort of left brain, logical, numbers driven, data driven guy who is, in my opinion, over diversified. And so I'm like, why are you taking such a risk here? But I think you explained it perfectly. Like this is your, what the growth portfolio is to me, where I'm like, okay, it's Lambo or food stamps. Like this is that to you. And that's fine. Like everybody's going to have that outlet.
And look, is it a risk if it goes to zero and you don't feel it?
Yeah. I mean, you can say that for anything you own because you own so many different things. Like,
but it's truth. Like this could go to zero. It doesn't impact me one way or another. You know what I mean? It's like buying lotto tickets for me.
I mean, that's a cool way to see it. I don't know. So I guess where I'll conclude, and just so that we wrap this up, where I'll conclude is like I am in the camp of it's interesting. I think I would want to answer that question for myself first and foremost. Am I an investor in this, or am I a pure collector? Because, for example, for something where I have nostalgia, I would struggle to treat that in a very objective lens without any emotions. But for other things where I don't have as much nostalgia, I could totally, flip something around. Like, for example, my first print or the first record that I bought or that somebody, gifted me as a present, somebody in my life, or a first print of that Pink Floyd album, I would never sell that. But if I bought an MJ rookie card or Kobe rookie card or whatever, I can flip that no problem because I don't have any particular nostalgia to that or any sport, for that matter. And so I would be willing to dip my toes in, but at the same time, it would just be like something for fun, not necessarily something where I think this is going to make a material impact in terms of the actual returns.
Yeah, the way that the people in this industry look at it is it a PC or not? If it's a PC, it goes in your personal collection. If not, it's something you're willing to trade up for something else or you're willing to sell. Like my buddy buys a bunch of wax and he rips it. And this girl, Caitlin Clark, just broke the women's NCAA scoring record yesterday, the day before. And he's been buying the Bowman U Chrome. And he's pulled a bunch of Caitlin Clarks and he's been sending them out to grade them and he's been selling some on eBay. And, he does that. And there's things that he gets when he rips that he puts in his personal collection. There's other stuff that he sells. And I've been trying to talk him into sitting on sealed product. And who knows if he's going to do that or not. But yeah, people have all different ways of going about it. But these are liquid markets.
Yeah.
And in liquid markets, you can make money, you can lose money.
Any last words actually, let me do one more plug before we go.
Now, if there's any last questions that I can answer, I'm happy to.
If there's any last questions, by the time I finish this plug, I'm going to throw them up on screen. Okay.
So by the way,
you're going to keep me here all night, bro.
No, I was at the deli the other day, and this GameStop comment made me just think of it. And there are these two guys they had to have been, I would say, anywhere from like 19 to 23. They looked like they played lacrosse, good shape, waiting for their sandwiches, and they're freaking gambling against each other, playing some Pokemon battle game on their phones. No joke. Freaking wild. But yeah, like, I don't know. People who you wouldn't think is into this stuff is into this stuff. It's weird. It's cool also.
That is very fair. The world is diverse. People are abnormal, let's say. They're unique. That's a politically correct way to say it. And my camera, I think, just died on me. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, I don't get this. Why do you guys have cameras that die?
Well, my camera is my cell phone. And in this case, I think it just literally battery. Yeah, I mean, I could. But everybody go and subscribe to Steve. His channel is the pinned comment on this chat. Subscribe to him for more alternative assets. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Steve, any last words?
Thank you very much.
All right, perfect.